General Alan Carter stood at the viewport of the transport ship, watching as the gleaming spires of Centauri Prime grew larger. The capital planet of the Galactic Empire was beautiful from space, all shimmering lights and perfect geometry. But Carter felt no admiration today, only unease. "We'll be docking in 10 minutes, General," said Captain William Grant, coming to stand beside him. The younger officer's reflection showed concern in the polished glass. Still no explanation for why the High Council needs you so urgently. Carter shook his head. Just the same message. Strategic meeting of utmost importance. Attendance mandatory. "It's not like the Empire to be so vague," Grant said. "No, it isn't," Carter agreed. 50 years of human integration into the Galactic Coalition had taught him one thing. The Empire loved precision almost as much as it loved power. The ship docked with a gentle bump. Carter straightened his uniform, the medals from the Proxima Rebellion catching the light. Those medals represented years of service, helping the Empire secure its borders against what they called rebellious elements. Now he wondered if that had been the right choice. "I should be back within a day," Carter told Grant. "Keep the ship ready." As he walked down the ramp, Carter was met not by the usual diplomatic escort, but by 8 armed Zendorian guards, their scaled skin gleaming under their armor. "General Alan Carter," the lead guard said, "you will come with us." Carter's hand instinctively moved toward his sidearm, but he stopped himself. "Is there a problem?" "You are under arrest for treason against the Galactic Empire." The words hit, harder than any physical blow. There must be some mistake. The evidence has been reviewed by the High Council. You will be given a trial, as is customary. The guard's voice held no emotion. As they surrounded him, Carter activated the emergency signal on his wrist communicator, a single pulse that would alert Grant something was wrong. Then he allowed himself to be led away, mind racing through possibilities. This was no mistake. This was planned. Ambassador Lisa Mitchell stormed through the gleaming halls of the Imperial Ministry of Justice, her diplomatic credentials granting her access but not answers. "I demand to see General Carter," she told the 4th official who had blocked her path. "The United Earth government has received no formal notification of charges. This is a violation of Treaty Article 27. The Zendorian official blinked slowly, vertical pupils narrowing. "The human will receive a trial according to Imperial law. Your diplomatic status does not grant you special access to prisoners accused of high treason." "Accused is the operative word," Mitchell said. "I need confirmation of his well-being and access to the evidence against him. The trial begins in 1 hour. You may observe, as is your right." The official gestured to a waiting area. "No further. Discussion is necessary." Mitchell knew better than to push further. The Empire's justice system moved with frightening speed and brutal efficiency. She tapped her communicator. "Get me President Warren. Now. Tell her it's as bad as we feared." The Imperial Court was a massive chamber of white stone and hovering lights. General Carter stood in the center, surrounded by a containment field that shimmered faintly blue. Above him, on elevated platforms, sat the 7 judges of the High Council, with High Chancellor Zexatora in the center. The Chancellor was an imposing figure, his bluish scales and elongated head typical of the Zendorian species. He looked down at Carter with eyes that showed no mercy. "The evidence has been presented to this council," Zexatora announced, his voice amplified throughout the chamber. "General Alan Carter of Earth, you stand accused of conspiracy against the Galactic Empire, sharing military secrets with known enemies, and plotting the assassination of Imperial officials." Carter's voice was steady as he replied, "I deny all charges and request to see this supposed evidence." A holographic display appeared before him, showing documents, communication logs, and meeting recordings. Carter recognized some as actual events, but they had been edited, taken out of context. "This is fabricated," he said. "These meetings were about the Joint Defense Initiative. You've removed key parts of the conversations." From the observation area, Ambassador Mitchell watched with growing horror. The evidence was clearly manipulated, but presented in a way that would convince anyone who wasn't present at the original events. The Council has reviewed the complete evidence, Zexatora said dismissively. Your denial is noted but does not change the facts before us. Carter looked around the chamber. I've served the Coalition for 20 years. I helped you win the Proxima. Rebellion. Why would I suddenly turn traitor? High Chancellor Zexatora leaned forward. Perhaps because humans have always had greater ambitions than their position warrants. Perhaps because your kind has been building military strength beyond coalition agreements. Perhaps because Earth believes it should lead rather than follow. The truth dawned on Carter. This wasn't about any real betrayal. The Empire feared humanity's growing influence. This isn't a trial, Carter said loudly, making sure his words carried to the observers and recording devices. This is a message. You're afraid of what humans might become. Murmurs spread through the watching crowd. Zexatora's scales darkened in anger. The evidence is clear, he said. The court finds General Alan Carter guilty of all charges. The sentence is death to be carried out immediately. Ambassador Mitchell jumped to her feet. This is an outrage. Earth will not stand for this. Her protests went unheeded as guards surrounded Carter. He stood tall, showing no fear as they led him to the execution chamber adjacent to the court. Outside the Imperial Palace on a nearby rooftop, Captain Grant watched through binoculars, his face grim. The emergency signal had brought him here, but there was nothing he could do against an entire Imperial security force. Not yet. Instead, he activated a recording device, documenting everything. The execution plaza was filled with witnesses, court officials, military officers, and galactic press. Carter refused the offered hood as he was led to the platform. High Chancellor Zexatora addressed the crowd. Let this serve as a necessary example. The Galactic Empire preserves peace through order, and none are above our laws. They allowed Carter, final words perhaps expecting a plea or confession. Instead, he looked directly at the recording drones. To Earth, and all humans across the stars, I die innocent. The Empire fears us not for what we've done, but for what we might become. This won't end as they think it will. Earth remembers its own. The execution was quick, a pulse of energy that stopped his heart instantly. The Empire at least granted a clean death. As General Carter's body slumped to the ground, Ambassador Mitchell made a solemn vow. This would not go unanswered. Captain Grant slipped away from his hiding spot, the recording secure. He had to get back to Earth with the evidence of this travesty. The journey would be dangerous. He was likely already marked as a person of interest. Within hours, news of the execution reached Earth. People gathered in streets and homes, watching. The final moments of General Carter's life broadcast across every channel. His last words became an instant rallying cry. In the United Earth Defense Command headquarters in Geneva, President Samantha Warren watched the footage in silence. When it finished, she looked at her assembled advisors. "Get me the fleet admirals," she said quietly. All of them. The first flames of war had been lit. The Empire had no idea what they had just started. The United Earth Defense Command headquarters in Geneva buzzed with activity. 7 days had passed since General Carter's execution. 7 days of growing anger across human colonies and settlements. 7 days of the Empire's silence. President Samantha Warren stood at the head of the long table in the war room. Her normally calm face showed the strain of sleepless nights. Around her sat Earth's highest military and intelligence officials. The large screens on the wall displayed maps of human territories and Empire space. "Captain Grant's ship has entered our solar system," announced Admiral John Blackwood, a tall man with a weathered face and gray hair. He had been Carter's friend for 30 years. "He'll be landing in an hour." President Warren nodded. "Good. We need his first-hand account and whatever evidence he managed to collect." Director Olivia Hammond of Earth Intelligence slid data tablets to everyone at the table. "We've compiled a pattern of Empire hostility toward humans over the past 5 years. It's worse than we thought." The room fell silent as everyone reviewed the information. hidden trade restrictions against human merchants. Military patrols increased near human colonies. Secret meetings between Empire officials discussing the human problem. "They've been planning this," said Admiral Blackwood, his voice tight with anger. Carter's execution wasn't just about him. It was a test to see how we would respond. "And how will we respond?" asked President Warren, looking around the table. "I need options." A young officer at the far end of the table raised his hand. Lieutenant Eric Davidson was newer to these meetings, a tactical specialist with fresh ideas. "Ma'am, if I may," he said. When Warren nodded, he continued. "The Empire expects either a weak diplomatic protest or an emotional, uncoordinated military response. We should do neither." He stood and walked to the main display. "Here and here," he pointed to key Empire outposts near human space. "They've increased their defenses, but these communication relay stations remain vulnerable. If we can disrupt their network, we gain valuable time while demonstrating that we aren't as predictable as they think." Admiral Blackwood studied the map. "The kid has a point. A surgical strike could buy us the time we need to fully mobilize." President Warren considered this. "Before we discuss military options, I want to try one last diplomatic approach. The Empire must be given a chance to step back from this path." She turned to her communications officer. "Prepare a direct channel to High Chancellor Zex Tora. The Empire has 48 hours to admit their wrongful execution of General Carter, provide reparations to his family, and guarantee the safety of all humans in Empire territory." As the meeting continued, Captain Grant's ship landed at the Geneva spaceport. He was immediately escorted to a secure facility where teams of analysts waited to examine his recordings and data. The evidence he brought would prove crucial in the days ahead. On the far side of human space, Governor Kate Martinez of Nova Colony received the emergency alert. All border settlements were to prepare for possible Empire aggression. She looked out her office window at the thriving colony below. 30,000 human settlers who had built homes and businesses on this distant world. They would be among the first in danger if war came. "Begin evacuation preparations," she told her staff. "Priority for children and essential civilian personnel. And activate our defense grid. If the Empire comes, we'll be ready." Nova Colony had defenses that didn't appear on official reports to the Galactic Coalition. Hidden weapon platforms and shield generators that exceeded treaty limitations. Earth had been preparing for this possibility for years. In his private chambers on Centauri Prime, High Chancellor Zex Tora watched reports from across the galaxy. Human military vessels were moving, not attacking yet but taking positions. "Interesting." His aide entered with a communication notice. "The human president demands to speak with you." Zex Tora's mouth formed what passed for a smile among Zendorians. "Put her through. Let us hear what excuses they make for their treachery." President Warren's face appeared on the large screen. She spoke with calm determination. "High Chancellor, the execution of General Alan Carter was a violation of our treaties and an act of aggression against Earth. We demand acknowledgement of this injustice, reparations to his family, and guarantees of safety for all humans in Empire." "Space, you have 48 hours to respond," Zex Tora laughed. "You are in no position to make demands, human. Your general was a traitor, judged by our laws. If anything, Earth should be providing assurances that no more of your kind are plotting against us." "The evidence was fabricated, and you know it," President Warren replied. "This is your only opportunity to resolve this peacefully. Peace has always been available to those who know their place in the galaxy," said Zex Tora. "Perhaps humans need to be reminded of theirs. This conversation is over." He cut the transmission and turned to his military commander. "Accelerate the fleet movements toward their colonies. It's time to show these humans the cost of defiance." Back in Geneva, the Earth Security Council gathered for an emergency session. Representatives from all human territories attended, either in person or via secure holographic links. Captain Grant stood before them, his uniform still bearing the dust of his hasty escape from Empire space. He had just finished presenting his evidence, complete recordings of the trial and execution, plus classified Empire documents he had managed to obtain. There can be no more doubt. he concluded. The Empire has been planning to move against us for years. General Carter was just the beginning. Director Hammond took the floor next. Our intelligence networks have uncovered something even more disturbing. She activated a display showing technical schematics. The Empire has been developing weapons designed specifically to target human physiology. Nerve agents that affect only humans while leaving other species unharmed. A murmur of shock ran through the chamber. Admiral Blackwood stood. The Empire's fleet has changed course. They're heading directly for Nova Colony and 3 other border settlements. Estimated arrival time, 36 hours. President Warren looked around the room at the faces of Earth's leaders. The time for discussion had ended. I call for a vote, she said. The motion before this council is a formal declaration of war against the Galactic Empire in response to their unprovoked aggression and the illegal execution of General Alan Carter. One by one, the council members voted. The result was unanimous. Then it is decided, said President Warren. As of this moment, Earth is at war with the Galactic Empire. Admiral Blackwood, you are authorized to activate the Prometheus contingency. The Admiral nodded grimly. Yes, Madam President. As the council dispersed to implement war preparations, Admiral Blackwood addressed the military commanders. They thought we were just another species to subjugate. They're about to learn what happens when you corner humanity. Across Earth and human colonies, military reserves were called up. Hidden weapons platforms were activated. Ships that had been disguised as civilian vessels revealed their true nature. Earth had been preparing for this possibility since they first encountered the Empire 50 years ago. The war had begun. Commander Grace Miller stood on the bridge of the Earthship Shadow. The vessel and its 5 sister ships were invisible to Empire sensors, hidden by technology that humans had developed in secret over the past decade. They waited in the darkness of space near the Empire's main communication hub. All teams report ready, said her first officer. Commander Miller nodded. Begin the operation. Across human space, similar teams moved into position. This was not the direct assault the Empire expected. There would be no grand fleet battles, not yet. Humanity had learned from studying the Empire's history. The mighty Galactic Empire had never faced an enemy who refused to fight on their terms. The Shadow moved silently toward the massive communication station. It was a hub that connected 15 star systems, coordinating Empire fleet movements and military communications. Taking it out would blind a significant portion of the Empire's forces. Stealth teams away, reported the tactical officer. Small craft left the Shadow, carrying elite soldiers in advanced armor. They attached to various points on the station's outer hull. Inside each craft, Engineer Paul Rodriguez checked the specialized equipment one final time. His creation, a device that could override Empire security systems without detection, was about to face its first real test. Remember, he told the soldiers, we're not here to destroy. We're here to control. Plant the devices exactly as planned. The soldiers moved across the station's hull like ghosts, placing devices at key access points. Inside the station, Empire personnel continued their work, unaware of the infiltration. Rodriguez activated his master control. Initiating system override in 3, 2, 1. Throughout the station, lights flickered briefly. Security systems reported all clear. But now every communication passing through the hub was being copied to human intelligence. More importantly, humans could now insert false information when needed. First phase complete, Commander Miller reported to Earth. Command, moving to phase 2. Similar reports came in from across the front. 6 major communication hubs compromised without a single shot fired. The Empire was now fighting blind in key sectors. Admiral Vexnar of the Empire's 3rd Fleet approached Nova Colony with confidence. His fleet consisted of 20 warships, more than enough to crush this human settlement and teach the upstart species a lesson. Target their main population center first, he ordered. Once their defenses fall, begin landing troops. What Vexnar didn't know was that the communications he'd received about Nova Colony's defenses were wrong. The Empire believed the colony had standard civilian shields and minimal weapon emplacements. That information had been carefully maintained. in all official reports to the Galactic Coalition. As the Empire ships moved into attack formation, Governor Martinez stood in Nova Colony's defense center. "They've crossed the outer marker," she announced. "All civilians are in shelters. Defense grid is fully powered." "Should we hail them?" asked her second-in-command. Martinez shook her head. "No warnings, no negotiations. They came to destroy us. Let's show them what humans do when threatened." The first Empire ship fired, expecting to easily penetrate the colony's shields. Instead, the energy blast dissipated against a defensive barrier, far stronger than anything a border colony should possess. Vexnar leaned forward in his command chair. "What is this?" "Increase power to weapons. Break through their shields." His ships unleashed a barrage against the colony. The shields held. Then Nova Colony revealed its true defenses. Hidden weapon platforms emerged from the ground and buildings. Advanced missile systems locked onto Empire ships. Fighters launched from concealed hangars. "Return fire," ordered Governor Martinez. "Target their lead vessels." The Empire fleet was caught unprepared. 2 ships exploded in the first counterattack. 3 more suffered critical damage. "Impossible," shouted Admiral Vexnar. "This is a civilian colony." His tactical officer looked up in shock. "Admiral, we're receiving distress calls from the 7th Fleet at Proxima Station. They're under attack as well." Across human space, the same scene played out. Empire forces expecting easy victories found themselves facing prepared defenses and unexpected tactics. The Empire had planned to crush human resistance quickly. Instead, they faced coordinated resistance at every turn. In Earth Fleet headquarters on Mars, Chief Engineer Paul Rodriguez activated the next phase of humanity's defense. "Initiating the Carter Protocol," he announced, named after the executed General. The Carter Protocol was a sophisticated computer virus designed to infiltrate Empire ship systems. It had been planted months ago, hidden in routine software updates that the Empire had accepted without question. "Sir," reported a technician, "the protocol has successfully activated in 68% of targeted Empire vessels." Rodriguez smiled grimly. "Begin system disruptions. Priority targets are weapons, shields, and navigation." Across Empire space, warships suddenly found their systems malfunctioning. Weapons powered down mid-battle. Shield generators failed. Navigation systems showed incorrect positions. On Centauri Prime, High Chancellor Zextora received increasingly alarming reports. What should have been a swift punishment of human defiance had turned into a military disaster. The supposedly inferior humans were winning on every front. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his military council. "They are outnumbered. They have inferior technology." An intelligence officer stepped forward. "Chancellor, we have reason to believe the humans have been concealing their true capabilities since joining the coalition. Our initial assessments appear to have been incomplete." "Incomplete?" Zextora hissed. "We based our entire strategy on those assessments." "There's something else," said the intelligence officer. "Several species within the coalition have begun questioning our actions. The Solarians have already announced they will remain neutral in this conflict." Zextora's scales darkened with rage. "No one remains neutral. They are either with the Empire or against it. Make that clear to all coalition members." News of human victories spread quickly throughout the galaxy. On Omega Station, a trading hub where many species gathered, Merchant Lori Jackson overheard conversations in a dozen languages. The common theme: humans were not what the Empire had expected. "Did you hear about Nova Colony?" said an Arcturian trader. "A small human settlement fought off an entire Empire fleet." "My cousin serves on an Empire cruiser," replied a Vexillian merchant. "She says their systems all failed at once, like the humans knew exactly how to disable them." Jackson smiled to herself as she collected valuable information to pass along to Earth intelligence. The narrative was changing. Humans weren't just fighting back, they were winning. In a private meeting room nearby, diplomat Ryan Chen met secretly with representatives from 3 species. "Earth doesn't seek to destroy the Empire," he told them. "We fight because we were given no choice, but after this war, the galaxy will need a new order, one where no single species dominates all others." The representatives listened carefully. The Empire's treatment of humans had made many question their own safety under Empire rule. If humans could successfully resist, perhaps others could too. The war was just beginning, but already the galaxy was changing. The execution of one human general had set in motion events the Empire could never have anticipated. The Great Hall of Omega Station buzzed with activity. Representatives from 30 different species gathered in the neutral trading hub, drawn by rumors and fear. 3 weeks into the war between humans and the Empire, the galaxy was choosing sides. Diplomat Ryan Chen stood before the gathered delegates. His simple black uniform bore only a small Earth emblem. No weapons, no medals, no signs of military rank. This was deliberate. Earth wanted to present itself as a defender, not a conqueror. "We did not start this conflict," Chen said, his voice calm but firm. "The Empire executed our general on false charges, then attacked our colonies. We fight only because we must." He activated a holographic display showing footage smuggled from Empire worlds, civilians being rounded up for questioning. Dissidents disappearing. Military rule replacing civil government. "This is not just about humans," Chen continued. "The Empire has used the war as an excuse to tighten control over all species. Today it is humans they call enemies. Tomorrow, who will it be?" The delegates murmured among themselves. An Arcturian representative rose. "The Empire claims humans have been planning this war for years. That you concealed your military strength, deliberately." Chen nodded. "We developed defenses in secret, yes. History taught us to be cautious, but we never planned for war. We planned for survival." In the back of the hall, Merchant Lori Jackson watched the proceedings carefully. Her real work for Earth intelligence involved monitoring which delegates seemed sympathetic and which remained loyal to the Empire. She noticed a tall, silver-skinned Solarian watching with particular interest. On the battlefront, Commander Grace Miller's stealth fleet struck again. This time, they targeted an Empire supply depot that served 3-star systems. Their mission wasn't to destroy it, but to capture it intact. "All teams in position," her tactical officer reported. Miller gave the order. "Begin Phase 1. Unlike the communication hub operation, this mission would involve direct combat. The depot was defended by 4 Empire warships and a full garrison of troops. Earthships appeared suddenly, their cloaking technology deactivating as they fired precise shots. 2 Empire vessels were disabled in the first volley, their engines destroyed by weapons targeting specific systems. "Enemy is responding," said the tactical officer. "They're calling for reinforcements," Miller smiled. "They'll find that difficult." Thanks to the Carter Protocol and control of nearby communication hubs, the Empire's distress calls went nowhere. The depot was on its own. The battle lasted 20 minutes. Empire troops fought bravely, but were overwhelmed by Earth's special forces. When it was over, humanity had captured one of the Empire's largest supply centers with minimal damage. Engineer Rodriguez moved through the depot, examining Empire technology with a critical eye. "Their weapons are more advanced than ours in some ways," he told Miller. "But they haven't innovated in decades. They've grown complacent." Miller nodded. "Get what we need, then prepare to distribute the rest." "Distribute?" Rodriguez asked. "To why?" "The local civilian populations under Empire control," Miller explained. "Food, medicine, clothing. Let them see that humans aren't the monsters the Empire claims we are." On Centauri Prime, High Chancellor Zex Tora's office had become a war room. Map showed Empire forces in red, human forces in blue. There was far too much blue. "The humans have taken another supply depot," reported General Kivzan. "That makes 5 major facilities lost in the past week." Zex Tora's frustration was visible in his darkened scales. "How are they predicting our movements so accurately?" "We must have a traitor in our ranks." The general hesitated. "Chancellor, I don't believe it's a traitor. Our communication systems have been compromised. The humans know our orders before our own commanders do." "Impossible." Zex Tora slammed his fist on the table. "Our systems are the most secure in the galaxy." "They were," the general corrected. But the humans have proven more resourceful than we anticipated. The Chancellor stared at the battle map. 6 major systems had already fallen to human forces. Worse, 8 coalition members had declared neutrality, refusing to send troops to help the Empire. We still have the advantage of numbers, Zexatora said. Gather the main fleet at Arcturus. We will crush the human forces in a single decisive battle. And if we fail? Asked the general. We will not fail, Zexatora hissed. We are the Empire. We have ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. We will not be defeated by these primitives. In the private chambers of the Solarian embassy on Omega Station, diplomat Ryan Chen met with Traxol, the senior representative of the Solarian species. The Solarians were known for their neutrality in galactic conflicts, but also for their strong sense of justice. Your presentation was compelling, Traxol said, silver skin shimmering in the dim light. But words are easy. Prove to me that humans fight only in defense. Chen placed a data crystal on the table. This contains our battle plans and strategic directives. Read them yourself. You'll see we have strict rules against civilian casualties and cultural destruction. We target military. Assets only. Traxel picked up the crystal. A bold move sharing such information. We have nothing to hide, Chen replied. The Empire executed our general because they feared what humanity might become. Not what we are, but what we could be. We don't seek to rule the galaxy. We seek to free it. The Solarian studied Chen's face. If your words are true, the Solarians may do more than remain neutral. But first, we must be certain. This was the opening Chen had hoped for. Solarian support could tip the balance, encouraging other species to side with humanity. In Earth's military command center, Admiral Blackwood received news of the Empire's fleet gathering at Arcturus. This was the moment they had been waiting for. The Chancellor is getting desperate, he told President Warren over a secure channel. He's committing almost 60% of his remaining forces to a single battle. Warren's face showed concern. Can we win? It won't be easy, Blackwood admitted. They still outnumber us. But thanks to the intelligence we've gathered and our technological advantages, we have a fighting chance. Then proceed with the operation, Warren said. But remember, our goal isn't to destroy the Empire. It's to force them to the negotiating table. Some of my officers won't like hearing that, Blackwood said. They want revenge for General Carter. Revenge isn't justice, Warren replied firmly. Carter wouldn't want us to become what we're fighting against. The Admiral nodded. The Battle of Arcturus will begin in 48 hours. If we win, it could be the turning point of the war. As human forces prepared for the largest battle of the war, Merchant Lori Jackson traveled between worlds, spreading news of human victories and Empire atrocities. Her network of contacts grew daily, creating a web of resistance throughout Empire, space. On a small agricultural world, she met with local leaders. When the Empire falls, what comes next? Asked an elderly farmer. A new coalition, Jackson replied. One where all species have an equal voice. No more Empire dictating to the rest of us. The farmer looked skeptical. And humans won't just take the Empire's place? That's not what we're fighting for, Jackson said. General Carter gave his life standing against tyranny. We honor him by creating something better, not by becoming the new tyrants. The seeds of a new galactic order were being planted, even as the war raged on. The coming Battle of Arcturus would determine if those seeds would have the chance to grow. The Battle of Arcturus lasted 3 days. It was the largest space battle in 500 years of galactic history. When it ended, the Empire's main fleet was in ruins, and the path to Centauri Prime lay open. Admiral Blackwood stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Defiance, surveying the aftermath. The cost had been high. 17 human ships destroyed, thousands of lives lost. But the Empire had lost far more. Status report, he said quietly. Empire forces are retreating to the Centauri system, his officer replied. We have confirmed surrender from 12 Empire vessels. Our medical teams are assisting their wounded. Captain William Grant, now commanding his own ship, appeared on the communication screen. Admiral, we've secured the jump point to Centauri. The way is clear. Blackwood nodded. Well done, Captain. Your ship will lead the assault group. I think General Carter would have wanted you to be first. Grant's face showed grim satisfaction. Yes, sir. We'll be ready. The victory at Arcturus changed everything. News spread across the galaxy faster than any ship could travel. Empire worlds that had remained loyal out of fear now faced a choice: continue fighting for a losing cause, or surrender. On Centauri Prime, panic spread through the Imperial Palace. High Chancellor Zextora raged at his advisors. How could this happen? They are just one species. We outnumber them 100 to 1. His military commander, General Kivzan, spoke bluntly. Numbers mean nothing when the enemy can disable our ships with a code. Nothing when they know our plans before we execute them. Nothing when our allies desert us. Then we use the forbidden weapons, Zextora declared. Activate the planet killers, target Earth first, then their main colonies. A hush fell over the room. The planet killers were the Empire's ultimate weapons, massive devices that could destroy an entire world. They had been built centuries ago but never used, banned by the very first treaty of the Galactic Coalition. Chancellor, said General Kivzan carefully, using those weapons would turn every remaining species against us. Even our loyal worlds would rebel. I don't care, shouted Zextora. I will not be the Chancellor who lost the Empire to humans. The argument continued. A junior officer slipped from the room. Minutes later, a coded message left Centauri Prime, transmitted on a frequency known only to Silurian intelligence and their new human allies. In Earth's military command center, on the liberated planet Avalon, President Warren received the warning. The Empire plans to use planet killers, she told Admiral Blackwood over a secure channel. We must strike first. Blackwood nodded grimly. I've already dispatched Special Forces teams. Captain Grant's ship will deliver them to the target. Plan had been prepared months ago when intelligence first discovered the existence of the planet killers. A small team of Earth's best soldiers would infiltrate the Imperial Palace and capture the control center. It would be the most dangerous mission of the war. Captain Grant's ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Centauri system. Using advanced stealth technology, they approached the capital planet undetected. Deploy the strike. Team, Grant ordered. Commander Grace Miller led the team. 20 soldiers in advanced armor launched from the ship in small, silent pods. As they fell toward the planet's surface, Miller remembered General Carter. This mission was for him, and for all those who had died in a war that never should have happened. The pods landed in the vast gardens behind the Imperial Palace. Guards patrolled the grounds, but Earth intelligence had mapped their routes. The team moved between patrols using the cover of ornamental trees and statues. Security systems bypassed, reported Engineer Rodriguez through the comm. From orbit, he had hacked into the palace network using methods developed during the war. The team entered through a service entrance, moving quickly through empty corridors. The palace was in chaos, with many staff fleeing as news of the human victory spread. The control center is 2 levels down, Miller told her team. According to our intelligence, that's where they can activate the planet killers. They encountered resistance at a security checkpoint. 6 Empire guards who died without raising the alarm. The team moved on, deeper into the palace. High Chancellor Zextora stood in the planet killer control center, surrounded by loyal guards. His scales had turned almost black with rage. Begin the activation sequence, he ordered. Target Earth first. A technician hesitated. Chancellor, this action cannot be undone. Billions will die. Do it, Zextora shouted. Or join them in death. The technician turned to the controls, hands shaking. Before he could enter the command, the doors burst open. Miller's team stormed in, stunning weapons firing with precision. Empire guards fell before they could react. Miller stepped forward, weapon aimed at the Chancellor. Step away from the controls. Zextora stared at the human soldiers in disbelief. How did you get here? How did you know? You're not the only one with spies, Miller replied. This ends now. The Chancellor reached slowly toward a hidden weapon but stopped when Miller's gun hummed with power. "You will kill me then? Like, we killed your general?" "No," said Miller. "We're not like you." At that moment, Captain Grant entered with more soldiers. He looked at the Chancellor with cold eyes. "High Chancellor Zextora, you are under arrest for war crimes against humanity and violations of Galactic Coalition law." News of the Chancellor's capture spread quickly. Across the galaxy, Empire forces surrendered. On some worlds, citizens celebrated in the streets. On others, fear of the unknown replaced fear of the Empire. 1 week later, representatives from all major species gathered on Avalon for the signing of a new treaty. President Warren stood before them. "The war is over," she announced. "But our work is just beginning." The Galactic Empire ruled through fear and division. What replaces it must be built on cooperation and respect. She revealed the framework for a new galactic alliance. No single species would dominate. All would have a voice. Military power would be limited and transparent. "This is what General Alan Carter would have wanted," Warren said. "Not revenge, but justice. Not conquest, but peace." As the delegates discussed the proposal, Captain Grant visited a quiet garden outside the conference building. There stood a simple memorial, a stone with Carter's name and the words, "He died so that others might live free." Grant placed his hand on the stone. "We did it, sir," he said quietly. "The Empire has fallen. A new alliance is rising. Your sacrifice wasn't in vain." As he turned to leave, Grant saw a Solarian watching him. It was Traxel, who had provided crucial intelligence during the final days of the war. "Your general," said Traxel. "There was a prophecy among my people. A species would come who would break the chain of empires, not to forge a new one, but to end the cycle completely." Grant looked surprised. "Is that why the Chancellor feared us so much?" "Perhaps," said Traxel. "Fear often drives those who rule by fear. The question now is, what will humanity build in place of empire?" Grant looked back at the memorial. Something better. Something worthy of those who died to get us here. The galaxy was changing. The execution of one human general had led to the fall of an empire that had ruled for 1,000 years. What would rise in its place would depend on the wisdom of those who had won the war, and whether they remembered why they had fought in the first place.